Hi, hello children. How are you? So hope you are fine. I am also very great, and once again I am very glad to come before you to start our last lesson in first unit, that is reading C. So in our previous videos we have already finished reading A and reading B, right? So hope you have understood those lessons in a better way. And let us start today reading C, the new blue dress, an interesting and exciting lesson. See, it will bring much change in your attitude if you could able to understand this lesson till last. Okay, so the title of the lesson is the new blue dress. So it is about dress. Dress is a noun because it is a thing. And what type of dress is it? So they have added two adjectives here. It is a new dress. First adjective, new. What is adjective? It tells the quality of a noun. What is noun here? Dress. And what quality is that dress? It is a new dress and it is a blue dress. See, adjective of quality. The word new tells the quality of the dress and the word blue tells the color of the dress. So there are two types of adjectives. Adjectives of quality and adjectives of color. So this is the title, the new dress, the blue dress. So totally the new blue color dress. So why did they give this title to this lesson? So you could able to know the answer as soon as I finish this lesson. Okay. So at the end of the lesson you will understand why this lesson is titled so. Shall we begin? The first paragraph. So open your textbooks. The lesson is in page number 19. So as I read the first paragraph, look into the textbooks. When spring came to the city of Cleveland in 1909, it did not change Gates Avenue. People who lived on the pretty streets near Gates Avenue were making gardens and painting their houses, but Gates Avenue continued to look dirty and ugly. Right. So this is the first paragraph which I have read now. So before beginning the lesson, I would like to introduce two places to you. One is Gates Avenue. It is a street name. Gates Avenue. And another place is a place near Gates Avenue. It means the neighboring street or next street to Gates Avenue. They have not given name of that street. A place near Gates Avenue. So remember very well, this is exactly the name of the street, but second one is not the exact name of the street. It is a nearby street which is next to the Gates Avenue, which is a little bit distant from Gates Avenue. So first place is Gates Avenue, second place is the next street to the Gates Avenue or a nearby street to the Gates Avenue, or we can call a place near Gates Avenue. So if you imagine that this is Gates Avenue, the next room or the next room to other room is a place near Gates Avenue. So two types of places are given in our lesson. So we are going to discuss the total lesson based on these two places. Okay. Now first paragraph, the concept in the first passage is, so this story took place in the city of Cleveland. Do you know where Cleveland is? So Cleveland is one of the major cities in the United States, one of the states of United States called Ohio. So Ohio is one of the US states. One of the US state is called Ohio. So simply Ohio is a state name, and in that state one of the major city was Cleveland. So this story took part or occurred in the city called Cleveland. So what happened in the Cleveland in 1909? They have mentioned the year also. In 1909 in Cleveland, spring season entered into that city. So we all know that we have 6 seasons, right? So what are the different seasons? that you come across in the earlier classes. We have winter season, spring season, summer season, rainy season, autumn season, right, monsoon. So these are the different types of seasons. And in each season, we can observe significant changes in the environment, right? In the same way, what happens if the spring season enters into a particular place? So all trees look green because a new leaves will bloom, right? So spring season is between the winter and summer. See, spring season is preceded by winter and it is followed by summer. So this spring season lies between winter and summer. So in spring season, environment contains greenery. All the places will continue to look green. We can see a pollution-free atmosphere everywhere. The environment will have a beautiful locations. Exciting sceneries will be seen during the spring season. Every tree will have a new leaves and new branches, right? So all the places will be as beautiful as the trees can be. So this will happen during the spring season. So every place will continue to look more beautiful during the spring seasons. But in Gates Avenue, so Gates Avenue is one of the streets in Cleveland. Now, which season entered in the Cleveland? Spring season came in that state, in Ohio state. So even spring season came to Cleveland city, spring season came to Gates Avenue. So all other streets except Gates Avenue contains some changes. See, the changes will be clearly observed from winter season to spring season. See, after winter, spring season comes. And when spring comes, we can clearly notice many changes. And those changes are worth notice. We can easily find the difference between winter and spring season. But there is no change in the Gates Avenue. Every street has been changed. Every street has become a colorful street. A greenery, the streets which are very green, which is a symbol of good environment. And every street became peaceful, a pleasant street, but except this street. Which street? Gates Avenue. It continued to look dirty and ugly, which is in the third line of first paragraph, right? So people who lived in the second place, so the people who are living nearby Gates Avenue, what are they doing? They are making their gardens neat and they were trying to paint their houses. Yes, the paint is flaking away. So that is why they are making a neat painting to their homes again. So they are trying to be neat and they are making their houses neat. But the people in Gates Avenue are not interested to do these things which the people in nearby Gates Avenue are doing. So they are making their gardens, they are painting their walls, houses, they are decorating their surroundings, premises and environment. So they care for the environment, but the people who live in the Gates Avenue will not care for the environment. Of course, they won't care for themselves also. They won't try to appear neatly. They will always be dirty and ugly. But the people nearby Gates Avenue are very beautiful people. They look pleasant. They look neat and tidier, but whereas the people in Gates Avenue look very unpleasant, dirty, ugly and unclean. So this is the theme and concept of our first passage. So even though spring season entered into the Cleveland city, there is no change. What change should be seen? A place should be very neat with full of greenery. Right? A beautiful location can be seen if spring season enters into a particular place, but there is no change. Still they can see in the Cleveland, they can see in the Gates Avenue, it is dry trees are there. The trees which lost all the leaves, right? They are unable to see greenery in Gates Avenue. So there is no change. All streets have been changed. They have got a new form and everybody can notice the difference between winter and spring, but there is no change in Gates Avenue. See, let next passage, the next two lines. Gates Avenue was a short street, but it seemed longer because it was so ugly. Most of the people who lived there had very little money and they never expected to have any more. So by reading these two lines, we can easily understand Gates Avenue was a very short street. It was not a long street, but if one passes through that street, if one tries to go through that street, definitely that person will feel that it is a very, very long street. Why? Even though it is not a long street, if one passes through that street, then definitely for sure that person feels that it is a very long street. Why did the person or why did the people feel like that? Even though it is short, why did the people feel it was long? Because it was very ugly street and nobody wants to spend any more in that street, or nobody wants to walk any longer in that street. See, if you are watching a boring film, even though it contains a short duration, it might be a 2 hours. If you watch 2 hours, you may feel, oh, it's been a very long time. So why did you feel so? Because you have watched a boring film. Even though the duration was very short, how do you feel? You feel that duration was much more than 2 hours, much longer than 2 hours. You feel as if you have seen a 4-hour film. Of course, it contains only 2-hour duration, but if you don't like the movie, you feel that 2 hours as 4 hours. In the same way, Gates Avenue is also a short street, but if one tries to pass through that street, then that particular person will feel that it was very long, because an odd smell, a bad smell will be coming in that street, so nobody wants to stay any longer in that street. Everybody wants to move faster. Even though they move faster, even though they walk faster in that street, that person will feel that it was a long street. So they want to leave that street as soon as possible. Again, that person who passes in that street will never come back or never try to walk in the same street again, because it was the ugliest street in the Cleveland. So, but you have to notice one thing. The people who live in the Gates Avenue are very poor people. They had very little money. So that is why they are never interested. They never show interest to make them clean, to make their surroundings clean. And they never expected to have any more. It means they don't have any hopes that they would become rich in future. So they always believe that they will die as poor person. Let us move on to the next page. Their houses had not been painted in many years. So here their houses refers to the houses in Gates Avenue. They are not even trying to paint their houses. Of course, I have already told that the people who live nearby Gates Avenue were painting their houses. They were making their gardens. But the people in Gates Avenue are not making their gardens, not painting their houses, because they don't have money. As I already told, they are very poor people. So for many years, the houses were not painted and they did not even have running water. It means the tap water facility is also not available for the people who live in the Gates Avenue. The street itself was very ugly, dirty, unclean and untidy street. There is no cleanliness. We cannot see cleanliness in that street. And the next line is, what was the next line? So as I already told, the street itself was very ugly. So how can we say even their houses were also very ugly? Because they don't show interest to clean their houses, to make their houses tidier. They won't even paint. The people nearby the Gates Avenue will paint, but the people in the Gates Avenue never try to paint their houses. That is why the street seems to be an ugly street, and there was no pavement. What is meaning of the word pavement? Pavement means footpath. Footpath. Do you know footpath? So when you walk on the highways or roads in the town, you can see either side of the road a special place is allotted for the pedestrians, for the people who walk. A special place will be allotted which is some level higher than the road, right? That place is specially allocated for the people who walk either side of the roads. So they don't have that facility also. The roads never have pavements in Gates Avenue, and the street was very ugly, and there were no street lights for them, right? See, if it is a city, the Gates Avenue is in which city? As I already mentioned, it is in the Cleveland city. Even though the Gates Avenue is located in the city, there are no street lights in that street. But the remaining streets might have street lights, but in these streets there are no street lights, because nobody, no official, no officer is interested to come and inspect what is there, what is required for that street, because they won't come to that street. The officials, the officers or the political leaders will not come to Gates Avenue. They won't even inspect that street, what is required for them, which facilities should we give for them. They won't think like that, because they feel that Gates Avenue is the ugliest street and we should not go there and need not to give any facilities for them. These are the feelings of officials, political leaders, right? That is why they don't have any facilities. They don't have running water facility. The street was very ugly, and there was no pavement, no footpaths, and there was no street lights in the Gates Avenue. And in addition to that, there was a railway track at the end of the Gates Avenue. Imagine this was the Gates Avenue, and at the end of the Gates Avenue, a railroad, a railway track is there. And what happens, whenever the train comes on the track, the people from inside the train will throw all the dirty things, all the garbage, all the rubbish into this street. Which street? Gates Avenue. So as soon as the train reaches that street, all the people in the train, they will throw through the windows. What will they throw? They will throw all the garbage, and they will just throw out that into Gates Avenue. So it adds some more dirt to that street. Already the street was the ugliest street in the city Cleveland. In addition to that, the people who are traveling in the trains also throwing garbage, rubbish into the street. So this added much more dirt to which street? To Gates Avenue. See, the railroad at the end of the Gates Avenue added noise. See, whenever train passes, there will be a lot of sound pollution and dirt. See, why dirt will come there? Because the people from inside the train will throw the garbage and rubbish into the street, right? So the street was filled with dirt and rubbish. Okay, let us move on to the second passage. The other girls in the school near Gates Avenue wore new and pretty clothes that spring, but the little girl from Gates Avenue still wore the dirty dress that she had worn all winter. Probably that was the only dress she owned. See, here they are describing about the students in the school. There was a school near Gates Avenue. It means in the second place. What was there? A school was there, and children, students from Gates Avenue and students in this place will go to the same school which is in nearby the Gates Avenue. So students from Gates Avenue will also come to the school which is near to the Gates Avenue. So what happens in the school, So other girls in the school near Gates Avenue wore new and pretty clothes. So the students who come to school from all the streets except Gates Avenue will wear brand new clothes, very good clothes. They will try to appear neatly in the school, right? Their appearance will be so good. But one little girl who comes from Gates Avenue still wearing the dirty dress that she had worn all the winter. See, which season was there in the Cleveland now? Spring season. So before spring, which season was there? Winter season. So throughout the winter, she had worn a dress, and the same girl was wearing same dress even in the spring season also. She was not interested to change her dress because she might have only that dress to wear. So probably that was the only dress she owned. She owned means she possessed or she had. She had only one dress, and in all the 6 seasons, it means throughout the year, she wears the same dress. She doesn't have any other dress to wear. What happens when a person wears the same dress throughout the 12 months? The dress will become dirty and nasty. And if somebody wears that, the person will also look ugly and dirty. So this is what happening with that little girl from Gates Avenue. See, whenever she comes to school from Gates Avenue, no student will show interest to sit beside her because she looks very dirty and ugly, because she was wearing the same dress that she had worn all the winter. See, since 6 months she was wearing the same dress. Then how can people or how can her friends sit beside her? Nobody will show interest. If you are in that position, will you show interest to sit beside someone who is wearing continuously same dress over 1 year? So we will not show interest. See, their parents, even the children's parents, are also not interested to buy and give them a new clothes to go for a school. They are not interested in the cleanliness of their kids. Who are not interested? The parents from Gates Avenue are not showing even a little bit of interest towards their kids. See, the little girl has mother and father, but none of them was ready to buy and give her new clothes. That is why what was she doing? She was wearing the same dress since 6 months. With the same dress she was coming to school now. It is in the second paragraph, right? The little girl from Gates Avenue still wore the dirty dress. She was unable to change, or she was unable to wear the new dress because she doesn't have. She has only one dress. So it was the only dress she possessed, she owned. So when the little girl from Gates Avenue came to school with that dress, same dress from the 6 months, when teacher saw that, she felt very unhappy. Who felt very unhappy? The little girl's teacher. How did she feel? She felt very unhappy. She was so sad and disappointed. Why? Because all the children in the school or in the class were looking good, were looking beautiful, nice, clean and tidy, except this little girl from which place? From Gates Avenue. Everybody is looking beautiful. All the students are so pretty, so good, except this little girl. And the teacher noticed one thing with that little girl from Gates Avenue. What did the teacher notice? The girl was very good. The girl was so nice, but her dress and face was not nice. The girl was looking beautiful, of course. If she wears new dress, then she will be more beautiful than the other children in the class. But she doesn't have a new dress. The little girl was so nice. She always worked hard in school. Who always worked hard? The little girl from Gates Avenue works hard, and she was always friendly. She talks so lovingly with affection towards other children. Yes, she talks with affection with other children. And she was polite also. She was obedient. She was a disciplined student, a well-mannered girl. Her face was dirty and her hair was untidy. So the word untidy means unclean. Untidy means unclean. If she washes her face, then she will be looking good. She will be so nice. But she doesn't have that habit of washing her face before coming to school or before going to somewhere else. She never washes her face because her parents also will not instruct her, will not order her to wash her face. Sure, she remains in the same way. How was her face? Her face was dirty. And how was her hair? Her hair was unclean or simply dirty. Dirty and untidy are synonyms. Now what happens? But anyone could easily notice that, easily observe that. Easily see that she was pretty under the dirt. Even though her dress was dirty, even though her hair was untidy, she was looking beautiful. See, her skin color is good, her countenance is good, but what is ugly there? Her face and her hair. As she doesn't wash her face, it is looking ugly and untidy. As she doesn't do head bath, her hair seems untidy. So what she requires now? She requires a face wash, a new dress and a new bath. If she does all these things, then she will look more beautiful than her fellow classmates in the school. So we can easily notice that she was beautiful, but she doesn't wash her face, she doesn't clean her hair. So this was the problem with her. And what happened one day? The teacher said, "Won't you wash your face before you come to school tomorrow morning? Please do that just for me." So as soon as the teacher observed this little girl who was looking dirty and ugly in the school, now the teacher approached her. The teacher came to her and requested the student to wash her face. "Dear student, my dear child, you are beautiful, but why don't you wash your face before coming to school the next day, tomorrow? So please wash your face and come to school next morning. Please do that." So here that refers to washing the face. So please wash your face just for me. So for me refers to for teacher. So the teacher is pleading with the student. So what did she request? What did the teacher request? The teacher requested the student to wash her face. Actually, it is the responsibility, primary responsibility of her parents, but they never showed interest towards her little girl. Right, towards their little girl. But now teacher is showing interest. Teacher is requesting the student, the little girl from Gates Avenue, to wash her face. You know what happened? The next morning the child's pretty face was clean and her hair tidy. What happened? When the teacher requested the girl to wash her face, she did the same. So when the girl came to school the next day, she washed her face before coming to school. And she washed her hair, she cleaned her hair also. Now she looks very beautiful, she looks clean and her hair became tidy. In the previous paragraph we have seen that her face was dirty and her hair was untidy. Now it became quite opposite after she washed her face. See, before washing, her face was dirty and her hair was untidy. But after washing, her face became clean and her hair became tidy. So these two are opposite. Clean is opposite of dirty. Tidy is opposite of untidy. So before washing, her hair was untidy and her face was dirty. But after washing her face, what happens? Her face became clean and her hair became tidy. So these two are synonyms and these two are antonyms, opposite words. Okay. So why did she observe that change in the student? Because the student washed her face following the request or following the instruction given by the teacher. So she listened teacher's words. Even you should also have that habit. If teacher tries to say something to you, you must obey that. Then you will be called as obedient. You will be called as a polite student. So you must honor and respect if an elder or if a teacher or if your parents try to tell you something. So if you do that, then you can easily observe the change in you. Okay. So now the children's face is looking clean and her hair seems tidy. Now the teacher focused on the little girl's dress. See, firstly, initially the teacher focused on her physical appearance. Now it became good. Totally, the child's face is so pretty and it is looking good. She was beautiful. But she continued to wear the same dress. Now again the teacher approached the student. See, first time she approached the student and told to wash her face and she did the same. So she looked beautiful and her face became so pretty. And second time the teacher came to her next day and, "Won't you ask your mother to wash your dress?" So the teacher instructed the student to ask her mother to wash her dress. so that it will look neat and tidy, right? So teacher requested this to the student, and that night the teacher thought that next day her dress will be so tidy and neat. And the next day came, the little girl also came to the school, but her dress was not washed. It is still unwashed. She continued to wear the same dirty dress. She came to school with the same dirty dress which she wore the previous day and which she was wearing from many months. So she didn't wash her dress, and even the girl's mother also did not wash her dress. Then what did the teacher think in her mind? Probably her mother is not interested in her. Whose mother? The little girl's mother was not interested in her. That is why she didn't wash her own child, her own girl's clothes. The teacher thought like that. So what happened, when the parents did not care for their own baby, the teacher cared. The teacher herself bought a new dress, a new blue dress. So this was the title of our lesson, reading C. So the new blue dress. Have you understood why the lesson is titled so? So who bought the new blue dress? The teacher bought the new blue dress. Why? Simple question. Why did the teacher bought a new blue dress? Because to give to her student. Because she requested the student to ask her mother to wash the dress, but they showed no interest. They did not care for their daughter's dress. Now who is taking care of the girl? The teacher is taking care of the girl. So as she could not wash that clothes, she bought a new blue dress and she gave that to her. She gave that to little girl from Gates Avenue. You can see that in the picture in the same page number 20, right? So what's happening in the picture? The teacher is giving a new blue dress to the student, and she was receiving the dress. So what happened as soon as she received the dress? The teacher bought the new blue dress and she handed over that dress to the little girl, and now after taking that dress from the teacher, she rushed to home. Rushed means to run quickly or to go quickly. So the child took the gift eagerly. Eagerly means excitingly, excitedly, or interestingly, or curiously, right? She has an interest. So when will my teacher give me that new dress? She has that interest. So with much interest, she took that as a gift from the teacher and she rushed home. Who rushed home? Rushed means to run. I am writing the meaning here. Rushed means to go quickly. Who went quickly? The little girl went to home quickly to show that new blue dress to her parents. So after she thought that at least after seeing that new blue dress which was given by somebody else, she thought that her parents will be changed. Her parents will show some care, some affection towards her. Let us see what happened